was a policy meant to mop up more than 2.7 trillion naira circulating outside the vaults of commercial banks in the country. It was a policy meant to curb inflationary rates, combat the shadow economy created by challenges of insecurity, and curtail corruption in the country. The Central Bank of Nigeria's policy to redesign the 200, 500, and 1,000 naira notes is one example of the saying that nothing good comes easy. The scramble for the new naira notes at most automated teller machines in parts of the country gives the impression that the notes are in short supply and that a lot more needs to be done by the policymakers towards addressing the cash squeeze. On 30 Minutes today, we will bring you various perspectives on the CBN's cash swap policy, as well as the advantages and challenges. I am Mitaire Ikpen. Many thanks for joining us. Nigerians are known to deal a lot with cash. Little wonder the quest of the Central Bank of Nigeria to encourage everyone to go cashless is taking a toll on citizens and businesses. The Apex Bank has made it clear that old 200, 500, and 1,000 naira notes will cease to be legal tender after the 10th of February 2023. Lydia Sampson will now tell us how Nigerians are adapting to the CBN policy.
The 2022 October 26 policy decision by the Central Bank of Nigeria to redesign the 200, 500 and 1,000 naira denominations following the approval of President Muhammadu Buhari and the subsequent announcements including cash withdrawal limits have continued to generate reactions across the country.
Given everyone the assurance that the new naira notes is available, whether it is banking hours or outside the banking hours. If you go to your ATM, you will get the new naira note. It's a directive that the Apex Bank have given to all deposit money banks. Make the money available in the machines so that people can have access to it. And we are supplying them with the new notes, and they are making it available through the machines.
It's very, very frustrating. Yesterday I was here. I don't have kobo. I stayed in between the line. They said the money have finished. Why should CBN send us to POS? Why they didn't put money there for us to come and collect?
But do you think this 10 days extension will bring any change?
I don't think it will bring anything because the problem is still there. It will take months to solve. I don't think it will bring any change because what we are seeing now is very, very terrible.
The line is too long and we don't know when we are going to leave here because we've been coming and before it gets to us, the money will go down. They will ask us to come back later. So we are still waiting, hoping.
It's always much. I've been here since 7 a.m. from one ATM to another. When it gets to my turn, money finishes, I'll go to another ATM, the same thing. But here, eventually, we got, but it pays 4,000 per transaction, and it's 200. So you have to, if you want the 20,000, you have to do it up to 5 times to get what you want.
I don't have anything to say than, the other banks, there are no any other one have money like this. So only this place is the one people are rushing now, for now. So when the other ones open, we see people rushing to the other side.
The issue of limiting your withdrawals per day, 20,000, it becomes difficult for people to withdraw. Like today, at least in NNPC here, you have almost all the banks here in Towers. But unfortunately, most of the banks doesn't have money. Like you can now, if you see here, you have Access Bank, you have UBA Bank, you have Fidelity Bank, you have Jais Bank, you have Eco Bank. None of those banks has cash for us to withdraw. So that becomes difficult for most of us who works inside NNPC. Getting money becomes very, very difficult for us. As you can see here now, you have almost everybody leaving their work in the office. I myself, I did night in the office. I'm supposed to be at home. But since 6 a.m. till this moment, I have not been able to withdraw. I know if I go outside NNPC, it's going to be very, very difficult for me to withdraw because the line outside there is difficult for people to withdraw. Now, at least I have limited chances here. I can withdraw after 4 to 5 hours. That's if the money is there. Like this ATM now is giving 4,000 naira per withdrawal. So if you want to make a transaction of maybe 20,000 in a day, you have to withdraw 4,000 into 5 times. And you have, for example, if you have more than 100 people in a line, withdrawing for 4,000 times, 5 times, and other people are waiting for you is crazy. It's crazy. But then I don't know what they want to achieve with this, but whatever. We are trusting God that after election, everything will just come back to normal, because we are talking about us here in Abuja. What about those in the village? I have my mom in the east, I don't know how she's doing over there. Getting this money is going to be very, very difficult for her. If I myself can stand, queuing on a line for 4 or 5 hours, come on. Whatever thing they want to achieve with it, I pray with time is going to, because people are really suffering. People are suffering. People are really suffering.
However, experts say by taking plenty of cash from outside the banking system into the system, the Naira Redesign policy will make it easier for CBN to use monetary policy instruments to control money supply growth in order to control price inflation. Already, the CBN governor says there's been early successes of the CBN intervention, as the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank recently affirmed that the various policy interventions of the bank had led to a reduction in inflation after months of an uptick in the headline index. Also, the cashless policy has led to a reduction in banditry and kidnappings, which were rampant in recent past.
Giving benefit to Nigeria and to Nigerians is what we are interested in, which is about making our economy stronger and then combating the high incidence of insecurity in our land. In my last comment, subject to the content of the CBN Act Section 20, subsection 3, which says, even after the old currency has lost its legal tender status, that we are mandated to collect those monies. And I stand with the House of Representatives on this. What does that mean? It would have lost its legal tender status, in which case we have moved on, but you have your money that you have not been able to send into the bank. We certainly will give you the opportunity.
Ironically, considering the timing of the policies coinciding with an election year, some Nigerians, particularly politicians, believe that the Apex Bank's move was targeted against certain individuals and the use of money for elections. Economic experts say it is disheartening that they have refused to see beyond their noses and the personal interest that the actions are in the best interest of Nigerians and the economy. If the country must address the current gale of insecurity, corruption, and economic sabotage, among other actions of some privileged elites who continue to take advantage of a dysfunctional system to shortchange the country. Notably, the CBN governor insists the move to redesign the currency was aimed at checking the increasing ease and risks of currency counterfeiting. Evident in several security reports, the increased risks to financial stability, as well as the worsening shortage of clean and fit currency, with the attendant negative perception of the central bank. Emefiele also acknowledged that there was significant hoarding of Naira notes by members of the public, with statistics showing that over 80% of the currency in circulation was outside the vaults of commercial banks. According to him, as at September 2022, a total of 3.2 trillion was in circulation, out of which 2.73 trillion was outside the vaults of the banks, describing the development as unacceptable, as this has the potential to harm monetary policy actions that will further lead to higher inflation and currency speculation, which could expose vulnerable Nigerians to further economic hardship.
Extension of the deadline from January 31, 2023 to February 10, 2023 to allow for collection of more old notes legitimately held by Nigerians and achieve more success in cash swap in our rural areas, in our villages and communities, after which all old notes outside the CBN loses their legal tender status. Our CBN staff, currently on mass mobilization and monitoring, together with officials of the EFCC and ICPC, will work together to achieve these objectives in the coming days. 2. A 7-day grace period beginning on February 10 to February 17, 2023, in compliance with Section 20, subsection 3 and Section 22 of the CBN Act, allowing Nigerians to deposit their old notes at the CBN after the February deadline, when the old currency.
As an incentive for Nigerians to deposit their old notes for the purpose of the transition from existing to new notes, bank charges for cash deposits had been suspended by the CBN. Unfortunately, some Nigerians wait last minute, leading to a rush for the new notes at various banks. The CBN policy emphasized that in the meantime, the present notes remain legal tender and should not be rejected as a means of exchange for the purchase of goods and services. With President Muhammadu Buhari's approval of a 10-day extension of the expiry date of the old Naira notes from January 31st, 2023 to February 10, 2023, it is expected that more bank customers will take advantage of the window to return all their old bank notes and achieve more success in cash swap in the rural communities, after which all old notes outside the CBN loses their legal tender status. The CBN says it acted in good faith towards the achievement of the bank's objective and the betterment of the country, stressing that the currency management remain a key function of the CBN as enshrined in Section 2B of the CBN Act 2007. Despite the antagonism against the CBN's cashless policy direction, analysts have thrown their weight behind the move, noting that the decision to limit cash withdrawals to individuals and corporate organizations following the currency redesign program was the right way to go if the country must move forward. The central bank has placed a cap on cash withdrawals under the new dispensation, restricting the maximum cash withdrawal over the counter by individuals and corporate organizations per week to 500,000 and 5 million, respectively.
Many thanks, Lydia, for your report. Now, racketeers are taking advantage of the CBN Naira redesign policy to make brisk business from the sale of the new Naira notes. Already, the nation's secret police, that is the Department of State Services, and the anti-graft agencies have been on their toes, going after the racketeers in major cities of the country. But are there results? Dennis Temple in our next report takes a look at efforts by the relevant agencies to ensure that the CBN Naira redesign policy realizes its objectives.
To cushion the effect of the Naira redesign policy, which has led to a cash crunch and scramble for the new Naira notes, the Central Bank of Nigeria says it is deploying 30,000 super agents to rural areas to enhance circulation of the new notes.
We are happy that so far, the exercise has achieved a success of over 75% of the 2.7 trillion naira held outside the banking system. And like you can see, we've started to see inflation trending downwards, and the exchange rate is relatively stable. We aim to support the efforts of our security agencies in combating banditry and ransom taking in Nigeria through this program, and we can see that the military are making a good progress in this important task in Nigeria.
This is to ensure that the weak and vulnerable persons in the hinterlands and regions underserved by banks are able to change their monies before the deadline given by the CBN. Challenges with the cash swap policy is compounded by the fact that some persons are already cashing in on loopholes to engage in racketeering. They include commercial bank officials, bureau de change, as well as POS operators who either hold the redesigned notes and sell to people at outrageous rates.
My mom just called me that she has to pay like 3,000 to collect 30,000 from the POS. That's 1,000 over 1,000 naira for 10,000 naira withdrawal. Just look at that. And how much is she honey? How much is the entire money with her? So there are specific individuals, high net worth individuals who are sabotaging this. Go after them, get them arrested for economic crime, and let the EFCC get them tried. But not to subject the entire country into this kind of untowardship under the guise of the handful of individuals who might be involved in this kind of surprises that you are talking about. There should have been a very strong intelligence guardian about the implementation.
Our CBN staff, currently on mass mobilization and monitoring, together with officials of the EFCC and ICPC, will work together to achieve these objectives in the coming days.
The cash racketeering trailing the Naira redesign policy has brought untold hardship to the masses who, in desperate to survive, have no option but to accede to the demands of the racketeers.
This is my card. I've been here even before 9 o'clock. I went inside. They said they can only receive, they can't withdraw. Then they said I should wait. I waited, I was inside. Up till later we came outside. I was the first person here. Later when I was inside, I didn't know that people have queued. I have to go back and start again. Then since that time, they have been trying the machine. I went the second time. They said they're still working on it. The third time I went, there's one man who was here. They say we should only withdraw 10,000. But with your card, you can take 10 twice. We waited. They came, somebody tested. I think he withdraw. I don't know. The money come out, they were struggling to, before they went. That's why we continue to wait.
I'm on transit. My train is 3 o'clock this evening. And I don't have a dime to travel with. So I need to withdraw. I went to Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank is not paying. This is my second bank. I met people here. What's going on? They say they can't tell me. But you people came in now. They now came out and tell us that there's a technical issue.
So what do you have to say about the exercise, the extension exercise? Do you see the whole thing achievable?
Well, I pray the whole thing should be achievable. I pray so that it will be achievable. But with the situation on ground today, man, we pray that it should be achievable. Because up till now, look at the queue.
The situation is not encouraging at all. I went to Zenith, it's not paying. When I came here, I saw the queue. I passed to UBA. In fact, I went to 4 banks on this axis. None is paying.
But with this extension now, do you think this exercise is achievable?
It will be achievable if at least the ATMs are working. It will be achievable. But where all ATMs are not working, nothing will work. It will not work at all because it is only when you go inside you will get the cash. But outside, when they are encouraging us to get new cash, you are not getting it. So how do we go to market? When you go to market women will not receive the old note. So what do they want us to do?
If government are ready of this extension, they have to stop giving old note inside the bank so that the new note is going to circulate. For example, if old note is continue circulating, the people that have small business, they will stop their business because if they collect old note, they don't know the time that they are bringing the old note to the bank. If they continue giving out the old note, how are they going to gather the old note and the new note to be circulating? So to me, CBN, they are not ready. That is why they are extending the time. If they are ready, let them stop the old note today.
The way the money is being dispensed is quite frustrating, actually. Like I was saying, I was on the queue yesterday. I was coming from a program, I was tired, but then I knew when I got home, I would not be able to come back. And I didn't have any cash on me. So, as in cash to pay for some little things. So I was on the queue. And then when it was about to get to me, in fact, the person that I'm following actually was withdrawing the money, and money got finished. And there was nobody to attend to it in the bank. So we had to leave. This morning again, I'd been inside. The same thing repeated itself. I even had to go and talk to the operation manager inside. And it was like, okay, there's no money. They were actually sourcing for it and all of that. All I could do is to come down here and see a lot of queue again. A lot of people, they were really like waiting for the end of the month to come so that at least we know that by the time you enter the banking hall, you could have your new notes. And now the extension, it has dashed the hope of some people. They're still waiting, still counting the days.
The situation is unbearable for the masses and steps are required to ameliorate the sufferings of the masses.
For me, I think the Central Bank of Nigeria isn't ready for this Naira Redesign policy implementation. It's been very shoddy, to say the least, very shoddy, and it's caused so much hardship to Nigerians, which is not the intended outcome when this was announced in October of 2022. From the start, you could see the shoddiness, the tardiness in the implementation. Look at it. We were asked to bring our own Naira notes, put it in our account, and then by December 15, we'll start getting new cash. Most Nigerians never saw the new cash until the second week of January 2022. And now banks are saying that they were not getting this new cash, despite the fact that we are told that this was printed in Nigeria. It wasn't imported, it wasn't printed outside of the country. So why shouldn't there be consideration for seamlessness of the whole exercise? And of course, they came with the controversial withdrawal limit. After so much use and cries, they relaxed that, they increased the withdrawal limit. Now swapping. I mean, I watched the interview of Governor El-Rufai on nation. That was saying that in Kaduna State, there are 2 local governments where there are no banks. And that in Borno State, in Yobe State, most of the local governments have no banks. In fact, he said that out of 17 local governments in Yobe State, only 2 of them have banks. So how do you want these transactions to go down to the people at the grassroots? Now you have POS operator charging astronomical interest on withdrawal. I mean, imagine situations where you have to pay 600 naira to withdraw 5,000 naira. This is what you pay 100 naira for just a couple of weeks ago. So I think this whole thing needs to be overhauled.
Some analysts emphasize that adequate sensitization of the masses is key to the successful implementation of any policy, including the cash swap initiative. There is also the belief that the supervision strategy of the Apex Bank to bust syndicates and saboteurs using the anti-graft agencies is also crucial and sanctions be applied.
We will track them. Luckily, those non-Naira, they have trackers. We will make public those that are involved in this business of selling new Naira notes, whereas there are people who are suffering in the villages that need those new Naira notes. We will deal with them. We have passed on a few videos to the EFCC, and they are going to track these people. So I'm seeing the opportunity to warn those bank officials, or indeed I want to say even CBN officials that may be involved in this process, that they will be dealt with.
Who are involved in this racketeering, and I know they are not even up to 500. They could not be up to 8,000. But assuming they are even up to 8,000 in a country of over 200 million, you can isolate them and get them arrested. If you have that intelligence, get them arrested, prosecuted, and jailed for economic crime. Then everybody will sit tight.
Many thanks, Dennis, for your report. Nigerians welcome the new Naira notes, no doubt about that. However, their availability, particularly for citizens and small businesses in the rural areas, will make a difference in the days and weeks to come. That's where we leave it on 30 Minutes for today. Look out for a fresh episode next week. I am Mitaire Ikpen. Bye for now.